So I'm on the air with this really amazing man from New Zealand, and his name is Scott McLaughlin. Is that right?
Yep.
McLaughlin.
Yeah, McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
Yeah, yeah.
See,
yeah.
that's why I asked.
No, but a lot of Americans say McLaughlin.
Yeah.
Because it's just, that's how you say, like, the way that my name's spelled. I'll just pull you up on it because I know you like well enough, but yeah, might as well get it right. But like, yeah, no, it's the same thing.
So say it one more time.
McLaughlin.
McLaughlin.
Yeah.
So you actually have a job racing cars. Okay.
Yep.
And you go ride around at 200 miles an hour and get paid.
Yep. Yep.
So,
sometimes 240. You just never know.
240?
Yeah. 240 is max speed that we do at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
You've gone 240 miles an
hour. Yeah, 243.
Yeah. Dude, that is insane.
I took a photo of it.
Did you?
Yeah, I looked at the data. And I was like,
while you were racing?
Yeah. No. I didn't see it on the speedo. Bit going on at that time.
So in your helmet, can they talk to you?
Oh yeah.
Can you talk back?
Yep.
They can hear you.
Yep. They can. Oh well, not like it's not an open ear. It's just like I got to push like a button.
Okay.
And we just chit chat.
And you talk to them and you basically say, hey, this car's riding like shit.
Yeah, or I have like, I'll ask things about the race. Sometimes I'll complain. That's mostly what race drivers do.
Yeah.
But like they're my point of contact. They see a lot more than I do. So they're strategizing the race.
And
they're
you're
figuring
with
out.
Penske.
Yep. Team Penske.
Penske's a pretty big team, right?
Yep. Roger Penske. He's got about 500 people.
And they've got what all do they race?
They race in NASCAR. Yeah, they got 3 cars in NASCAR, 4 cars. You've got
Indy.
3 cars in IndyCar, and then they've got a Porsche Penske Motorsport, which is a sports car, and they just won the Daytona 24-hour.
Hell yeah!
So Roger's been in the business for over 50 years. He's a Hall of Fame, and nearly every Hall of Fame there is in motorsport. He's a member of that. He's an incredible human being and someone that's not only been successful in motorsport, but he's even more successful on the business side.
Right.
The Penske trucks you see, Penske rental.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I feel like everyone in America knows the name Penske. In some ways,
they do.
Whether they know it's Roger Penske or they just know it from the rental trucks or whatever. It's an amazing brand.
Them as they get cut off by them on the highway.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of them are pretty dodgy drivers for sure.
So how did they find you?
So I was racing in Australia. So I raced supercars in Australia.
What's a supercar?
Supercar is basically the Australian NASCAR.
Okay, got it.
It's right-hand drive.
Sure.
It's a little bit different in that regard, but it's a touring car. It went about 180, 185 mile an hour top speed. We raced all over Australia. So I was racing for a team back then. About 2014, I got whiffed that Penske were going to enter that sport. So I sent an email to the president of Penske Racing, Tim Cindric, and said, hey, like, these are my details. If you ever need a driver one day, I'd love to be a part of your squad, because I think every person in motorsport wants to be a part of Penske. Then in 2015, started 2016, they contacted me about potentially having me drive for them in 2017. And we got it all done, and I started driving for Roger Penske in 2017 and haven't looked back since.
2017?
Yep, so I raced for him in 17, 18, 19, 20 in Australia. 18, 19, 20, we won the championship there. 3 in a row. We nearly won 17, but
you won the championship.
I won the championship in the Supercars championship.
So you're pretty good.
Go okay. Yeah, go okay. And then we won.
Garrett, I should have Googled this dude before I came in.
Currently,
I'm
56 wins, 103 poles.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what the thing is? I'm the host.
Yeah.
He's data.
Yeah. Hey, everyone's got to have it. Trust me. I'm the driver. I've got my engineer. He set up the car, right? So.
Hey, I don't know how the fucking engine works, but it goes in circles real fast.
No, I get it. But like we had great success down there. Yeah. I think I joined that team. In my career, I had 12 wins maybe.
Yeah, wow.
And about maybe a dozen poles as well. Poles are when you qualify fastest. And then by the end of it, I was over 100 poles and over 50 race wins.
So what you're saying is everybody in Australia is glad you're in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Professionally. Absolutely. Yeah. We had a good time, but then I got the opportunity with Roger to come and race IndyCar, and I just never. I always thought like America for me was the big leagues. My mum and dad were infatuated with America. Our family was infatuated with it, whether that's from just watching on TV or my dad loved American hot rods and whatnot. And then when I got the opportunity, it was like, never
Tell
looked
me
back.
a little bit about New Zealand.
Yeah.
What is like I want to go there. It's on my bucket list, and I was supposed to go with Chris West and with Expel because they have a presence in Australia, and unfortunately, scheduling didn't allow us to get together, but we are still planning on going to Australia and New Zealand, hopefully by the end of the year. Yeah. He's now director of Asia and China, so I'm going to be going to China to help him there with some marketing on behalf of Expel. But man, I have been in love from an audience like you are with the U.S., with your country, New Zealand, and I'm sitting there going, all right, you got was it Christchurch?
Christchurch, that's where I was born,
right.
Christchurch.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sick. And it's beautiful scenery. You can be in the mountains in just an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you can be at the beach. You can go mountain biking, which I love to mountain bike.
Yep.
But tell me the best part that you miss about New Zealand.
I think it's just so simple over there. Like the simplicity of just life in general. It's a beautiful country. I miss probably just the green and the hills and whatnot. And like you said, like mountain biking there is amazing. There's a place called Rotorua, that's a big mountain biking capital. And then you've got right down the bottom, which was about 5 hours from Christchurch, where I was born, Queenstown. Queenstown is like, that's my favorite destination almost in the world. One day I'd love to like have a property there and be able to go down there every once in a while. You can snowboard there. In the summer you ride mountain bikes or dirt bikes. It's awesome. Comparable
to the U.S., what's you just said you'd love to own a property there.
Yep.
Comparable to, you're just now, is this your first home you just purchased?
Yeah, we just,
Yeah, the one I went and in beautiful home.
Yep.
Congratulations on
Thank you.
being a homeowner.
Thank you.
You're only going to make money now.
Oh, just in debt, but that's fine.
The American dream. Right?
Yeah, that's right.
Be in debt,
I think it's in debt. That's the American dream, right?
I agree. Yeah. I go love hate. I get out of debt. I go back in debt. It's like a roller coaster.
Yeah.
But what's comparable, just for myself, I just want to know the pricing difference between New Zealand versus like the U.S., like a home that you're interested in buying there. What would be the value?
I think it's more it's quite expensive in Queenstown, like for the dollar value for what you get. Sure. I can't really probably explain it fully, but probably more just the New Zealand dollar to the US dollar. Like taking the US dollar back to New Zealand is very beneficial.
We're worth more?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Probably nearly double.
Did you see that?
So yeah,
bro, we're going to New Zealand. Right? $100 means I get 200.
Yeah. It's close to that. I mean, and that's a nice thing. But there's obviously taxes that come with non-residents and all that stuff. So it probably all equates in the end. But yeah, I think you could get a decent property there now for 1 or 2 mil probably. But it depends how big you want to go.
Are there decent homes for 500?
It's pretty overpriced there now.
So
though.
They're still high.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh yeah.
No,
they're high, but we would make it back by going back with our US dollar in some ways, right? But ultimately that's a goal of mine, is potentially to have be able to buy a house there, and then it's like our family home. Like my mum and dad can go down there. My mum and dad live in Cambridge, which is the North Island. So New Zealand has the North Island, the South Island, and then there's right down the bottom is like Stewart Island. It's very small, but the North Island, mum and dad are about an hour south of Auckland, which is like one of the biggest cities there. But then for them to fly from where they live is like 2 hours, and they'll be in Queenstown, and an amazing spot. So ultimately it would be a really cool thing and something to give back to my parents.
So let's go back to the beginning. Mm-hmm. You were watching TV, you're a kid, and you said, I want to race cars.
No, my parents used to race before I was born.
They did?
Not competitively, just for fun. Yeah, they were in like karts, in New Zealand. Both of them. Yeah, go-karts.
Go-karts,
yeah.
Got it.
And so went through, they went through the ranks there, but they never went professional.
Right.
They stopped when I was born, and then eventually mum and dad stopped, and then I went to a car show with them, and like I said before, they were right into American hot rods and whatnot. And I went into this car show, and there was a go-kart sitting there, and they're like, the next day was a have a go day at the local go-kart track, and mum and dad were like, hey, we used to race these, would you want to have a go? I was like 6 years old at the time, and I was like, when you're 6, you're just like, absolutely, I'll give it a go, and the rest is history. Like I just loved it from
Ricky
the start.
Bobby, I want to go fast.
Yeah, kind of exactly, kind of like that way. Yeah.
I always wanted a motorcycle when I was a kid. So when my son, he's in the room now. His name's Colby. He's sitting over here. He's 19, and I bought him his first motorcycle when he was 4 years old. Okay, true story. It was an oil injection Kawasaki 50. Which I don't even know what the hell oil injection means, right? So I just put fucking gas in it and said, let's go ride the damn thing. We bought some property out in Marshville, and he goes around the pond. He comes back. He's like, Dad, I'm out of gas. I put gas in it. Goes and rides around a circle. Comes back. Go out a week later, rides around the circle all day. Circle.
Yeah.
Buddy comes out there. He goes, your son's pretty quick on that thing, man. I said, okay, cool. And he comes back, puts more gas in it. Come back the next week. I never put oil in it.
Yeah. So I was going to say.
Motor just went boom.
Oh yeah. So I remember that back in the day when you had to, had your oil, you mixed it all up for the mount and shaked out the can.
I'm the guy that doesn't go to YouTube and reads the video.
That's all right though. That's ingenuity.
I was sitting there going like, I guess he blew it up. Like, I guess he ran too fast.
He had too much throttle.
Yeah, exactly. So when he turned 5, I got him a Kawasaki 90 four-wheeler. So we all bought four-wheelers. And then at 6, I bought him a KLX 110, which is a little bike. And then we had other friends, and the KLX 110 was a 4-stroke easy. You just put gas in it and you're good. Yeah. But anyway, he rode that thing off the charts. And then my buddy's like, hey man, your son's really quick. You should get like a 65. Yeah. And I said, what the hell is a 65? So I go buy him a 65, and then we go race. And then we start racing, and then we got sucked in, and next thing you know, we have Kawasaki, we have 4 motorcycles, we have a travel trailer.
People are selling you the dream.
Yeah, and then I'm over here going broke, spending freaking every dollar.
That's the other side of the American dream, going into debt, helping your kids.
Well, particularly when you're in motorsport.
Right.
Yeah, like motorsport is not precious
for
the dollar.
That stuff,
oh,
like
people
new
do.
Clutches, motors, oxygen. I didn't even know what the hell oxygenated fuel was until VP came over and was like, hey man, you need to run this MIROX 02 oxygen. But I got addicted to the smell. He'd be on the starting gate, and you could smell my son's bike versus every other bike out there and be ding, ding.
Oh, it's awesome.
And it smells
There's nothing like it. I remember like just mornings at the go-kart track when everyone's warming up the engines. Like it's the best smell in the world. Yeah. And it's like the thing is, it's addictive, but there's people that, they'll put everything on the line. I'm talking like
everything,
mortgaging houses, like they're doing, and it's a very.
So you get sucked in.
If you're good enough, like there's many people that haven't got to the top when they probably should have, just because they've hit that financial barrier, which is sad. But there's, I was very lucky. I had mum and dad were pretty successful in their business, but my dad was also an amazing salesman. I had a great sponsor for many years, and they put almost $4-5 million Australian into my career. So I got lucky in that regard, and I got noticed by the right people. But it's, like I said, many people that like just go broke, either doing it, trying to chase the dream, are good enough, but they just run out of cash or run into a roadblock. It's tough. That's why I'm always big on like, anyone like who, if they pick up a golf club or something, because the difference between a golfer, a rugby player, a football player, or anything like that is they get there on natural talent. If you are good enough, you will eventually make the top. Where motorsport's different. Like you can be as good as Michael Schumacher, but you may not get noticed, or you may not have enough money, and it just might not happen for you, and you'll miss the boat. Unfortunately, that's just what happens. But that's why when you get that opportunity to risk it all or whatever, you've got to take it with both hands.
Did you see the movie that just came out?
The Gran Turismo one. Yeah. I hated it.
You hated it?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Everyone that doesn't watch motorsport loved it.
Yes.
I was like, there's so many.
I saw your house. You have a race simulator like
that.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. So I raced him, and the guy, that kid, that won, Jan. I know him or know of him, and he raced in races that I was a part of. It's an amazing story. It just had a lot of Hollywood on it, which was good, because if someone like yourself that doesn't know much about motorsport or whatever, you're like, oh, that's pretty cool, or like, awesome, and it's good for the sport. But the ones I always like watching are one. I don't know if you've heard of Rush. And and Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, the Ford versus Ferrari.
Yeah, those are good because they suck me in. I'm like a diehard, obviously motorsport, know everything about it, know everything about that story, but for someone like you, it's very educational and tells you the story and explains it. So I kind of, where there's not much Hollywood on either of those, where like Gran Turismo was like, some of the things they said, I was like, oh, you're right.
I'm going to go into the Gran Turismo moment. Okay. I'm going to go into something that the audience is probably very unaware of. So I played rugby. I played football. Played basketball. And I'm an MMA guy. I've been doing martial arts since I was 12. Yep. So I don't mind getting hit. Yep. I'm pretty aggressive. I'm a team player. And I work out a lot. And I'm pretty strong and pretty confident. And my friends used to see my son race dirt bikes. Okay? And he's probably 10, 11 years old. And he's jumping 100 feet in the air on this freaking bike. I mean, just there goes my son, right? And they go, oh man, must be easy just to give it a lot of gas and, and they don't realize the braking bumps, the legs that have to absorb the braking bumps, the arm pump, the core conditioning, the amount of conditioning that my son, because I didn't know, because I grew up riding like little trail bikes, okay? I mean, when I was 13, 14 years old, I had like a trail bike. But I finally got me a dirt bike. I was leaner. I had a little bit of some land, so my son started getting into dirt bikes. I bought me a 250. I started riding. I get off that thing after 2 laps, can't breathe, sweating, legs burning, like I just skied for 3 hours. I'm like, this is freaking insane. So my son's training road biking, mountain biking, riding all day long. And then we go to Club MX and we live there and we train there with all these professional athletes, and we got homeschooled and we got the camper. And all my friends are like, what? All your son does is give throttle. I mean, all he does is ride a dirt bike. Like, I mean, really? How hard is that? And I'm like, bro, he runs, he gets up, he conditions. Yeah. It is the most brutally hardest sport I've ever seen in my life, the conditioning.
Dirt bike riding stuff?
Dirt bikes,
oh, I know.
And so until you've ridden a dirt bike on a motorcycle track for hours and hours and hours, you're not going to respect the amount of conditioning that they have to have for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, plus 2 laps. Yeah. And the amount of bumps and things they have to absorb. The one thing I'm going to tell you, though, is I went go-karting at Victory Lane Go-Karts. My buddy Fred, who owns the place, done a bunch of cars for him. We go out there and I get aggressive, right? I'm out there with my sons, and I'm trying to be like, I'm the man. So we buy 3 sessions, right? Like one, and you do the thing, and then you go in and you get back on the cart and you go back in and you ride again. I made it 2. And so my arms were numb. I couldn't feel my legs. And I'd raced this go-kart with like so much intensity that I think my heart was at 300 pounds per second. And I'm sitting there going, this is freaking hard. Yeah. Okay. Then I'm gonna give you another one. I'm gonna lead you into some things. I bought a GT500, a new one, and it's got 760 horsepower. And then when they gave me this little certificate, it says you can go out to the Charlotte Motor Speedway and do this Ford experience. I'm like, oh, cool, no problem. I get to drag race it. That was easy. Give it gas, boom. Then we go on the oval. I almost threw up. I got so sick. I got motion sickness. And I was like, I don't understand how the hell anybody does this stuff, because I kept looking down instead of up. And I said, never want to do this again.
You're only looking just ahead of the bonnet.
I was so dizzy. I was so upset. I mean, literally, we go out with 5 guys. I'm like, they're lapping me. I'm like, the guy back here. So the amount of conditioning that you do is probably, excuse my language, fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Well, it's funny you talk about that, and leading back onto those dirt bike guys, I 100% agree with you. I think they are like amazingly fit human beings. Like to hold onto those bikes, they're powerful, to jump, to go over the bumps. Like it's hard on your legs, and they make it look easy. And it's like any sport. Basketballers make hitting a 3-point shot so easy. It makes you think, oh, I can go do that. But that's just what happens. Until you get into it, you don't realize how hard it is. But so I just ran the Daytona 24-hour, which is
I saw that.
Yeah, so that's a 24-hour race.
Explain that to me.
That's so basically starts at 1:40 p.m. on Saturday, finishes at 1:40 p.m. on Sunday. You have 4 drivers that you compete with, including myself. There's 60 cars with basically 4 drivers, but there's all different type of cars. So you've got, say, 12 ultra fast. They're called GTPs. And then you have mine, which is the LMP2, which is about 13. And then you have after that, the rest of them are like GTs, like your normal BMWs, your Mercs, but they're like 15 seconds slower than us. So you're passing these guys at the speed of light. So you're constantly passing cars, and your stints are 2 to 3 hours long, maybe sometimes 4 hours, depends on how good you're going. Anyway, over that 24 hours, I had 41 minutes sleep, and I burnt over 6,500 calories.
How many?
6,500. My average heart rate, like when I was in the car, was about 177.
What's normal?
About like normal for me, like my resting heart rate's 42.
42.
Yeah, and then
holy shit.
Yeah, I'm basically dead when I sleep. But then but it's all about trying to, like when you talk about I was motion sickness, I was gripping the wheel too hard, like. You got to get to that point where you actually it's almost like you let the car do the work and you just get into this flow state. And that's where I'm at. Like I've got into like a big sort of flow state. I've trained for this condition myself. Saunas, the car gets up to probably 110 degrees inside that LMP2. Like it's hot and for an extended period of time, but adrenaline's a wonderful thing, keeps you going. But yeah, that was a crazy time. But I did in that race, I did 8 hours, 5 minutes of driving. So
what was your average speed?
I mean, like top speed there is about 185.
But you're constantly over 100.
Oh yeah, no.
That's what I mean. You're not going 60.
No, that's a very flowy track. There's two or three turns that are probably 60 mile an hour.
What's the lowest you get down to in turns? Like 100, 110?
No, probably like lowest would be probably 80.
Okay, so
I'd say it's 60 to 80, I think, around there. You don't really look at that. It's just the speed is not really what you worry about. It's the lap time. That's how fast you can get around, and it's about a minute 30 laps. So you constantly just smashing it out or whatever. It was a lot of fun. I love that race for warming me up. No, we finished fifth overall. So fifth in the class.
And how many were in the class?
13. So we started 13th, finished fifth. Overall, out of the 60 cars, we finished like 10th because a few of the guys up the front dropped out. We had a chance. We were leading there at one point, but we just didn't quite hit it at the end.
Was it a fun experience?
Oh, it's amazing.
First time you ever done it?
Second, but it's such a good warm up for me.
Is this an invitation only?
No. So it is kind of, you got to get invited by a team to be a part of their squad.
What team?
I'm with Tower Motorsports.
Okay.
So it's they're a relatively young program, but like they're really good people.
So
a lot of fun.
Penske loaned you out.
Yeah, well, no, that was more on my own accord. So, like in some ways, like, I'm employed by Penske as like a contractor,
okay,
and so I'm sort of doing freelance work like any of these cameramen do or whatever. It's
so if you don't have a ride that week, you can go ride somewhere.
Right, but ultimately it's my risk. So if I get hurt and it affects my driving in IndyCar, then it's on me.
But it could be good training for you, like you just said.
Well, it is. It's great, and that they like me doing that stuff, but probably more so out of the season, which it is out of the season. Right. My first race in IndyCar is not till the second weekend of March. Yeah, so
and where's that?
I got a bit of time. That's down in St. Petersburg in Florida. Okay. Yep. So it's but I'm gearing up for a pretty big year in IndyCar. Like we finished third in the championship last year, fourth the year before. Won a couple races last year, won 3 the year before. We're in a really good spot, and it's sort of now it's go time for me to get going. Yep.
So your contract probably has some language in there that says, "Hey, you win a freaking race."
Yeah, there's KPIs, bonuses. Yep.
That's cool. Mm-hmm. Sponsors. I know the XPEL's a sponsor. How many other sponsors you got for a car?
We have on my car. Yeah. I've got close to 10.
Come on, you're supposed to know these.
Oh, things. No. Do you want to know them?
Rattle them off, man. I'm on the air with Mike Burke, and I want to thank Penske. I want to thank, what's the fuel company?
Shell. And I'm sponsored by Pennzoil. So I run the Indy 500. I've got the Pennzoil.
You just raced a race. How are you doing?
So then I got
to go down the little
spill. Well, Indy 500, the Pennzoil Chevy felt really good. And like you always got to try and include it. And XPEL really helped me like slip through the air because of their paint protection, all that sort of stuff. You're trying to slip it all in. But it's kind of like Ricky Bobby. It really is. But yeah, I have a huge amount of, I have great people. I mean, like XPEL, obviously, great people, always look after me. And I've been their driver for the last couple of years. I had a lot of fun. I've got good ranches. They're like an American state company. I've got Dex Imaging. It's a printer copier company based in Tampa, but it's huge all over America. Obviously Pennzoil, Soncio Vehicle Protection. They're kind of like competitors to XPEL, but like that sort of works out. I don't know how. Odyssey Battery. I got a heap of people that sponsor me throughout the year, but I could run the list forever. Gallagher's a big one. That's an insurance company. I mean, and the perks of having a lot of these relationships for me, especially in this young part of my career in America, is like you said before, like it's the networking. It's the people that have helped me. Like Gallagher's just helped me insure all my life insurance, you know, and then I've got Expel, you know, yourself, you know, you're helping me with like tint on my house, or just looking after my personal property stuff, you know.
I just think you're fucking cool, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I don't care you race cars. I really don't. Like he's a famous race car. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just think he's cool, dude.
I just try and be normal, man.
And that's the thing, man. I don't get starstruck by anybody.
I love that.
And I've met tons of famous people, and my buddy's over there jonesing, and I'm like, whatever, bro. Like,
yeah. I enjoy that, like being able to, I think, bring people, like when I meet people for the first time, I think they're very like, a lot of people are like very like treading water, like very nervous about it. And I'm like, man, I'm just a normal dude. Like, let's have a drink or
listen,
whatever.
I don't care who it is, but there's one person that I will tell you that kind of gave me this Godfather-esque moment. You ever seen The Godfather? You know, like the history.
Yeah. I'm married to an Italian, so I had to watch that.
Well, I've been window tinting in Charlotte, North Carolina since I could drive a car.
Yep.
And I've had the pleasure of meeting the billionaires and the who's who.
Yep.
And I'll tell you one guy that stands out to me is Rick Hendrick.
Oh, yeah.
And I've done a lot of work for him years ago. We're talking like 25 years ago when I was just a little rookie.
Yep.
Right? And when he puts his hand on you, it's like the Godfather himself is like talking to you. It's like, Michael.
Yeah.
You're gonna take care of my car, right, buddy?
Yeah, it's amazing. Like Mr. H and Mr. Penske, like Roger, like they're two of the most like amazing people. Right. Like I said, like they're very successful in motorsport.
Yeah.
But like they've got this, like they're two people that I thought could be like the president as well. You know, they could quite easily be the president.
I would love Rick Hendrick to be president. He's a smart guy.
Like they're so good at speaking. They have this aura about them when they walk through the room, like to the point where like you almost feel like you stand up when they walk in the room, right? Like it's
like a general just walked in.
It's not like exactly. It's not like a sucking up thing that you do that. It's just this energy that they give. You know how successful they are, but they also know at the same time they're so respectful.
Right.
It's just, they're amazing people.
And they'll remember your name.
Yeah. That's amazing.
It's insane.
Rick would probably remember you from like 20 years ago probably. And
he still does.
And Roger's like that as well.
That's
like they have
awesome.
these amazing, my dad talked to him in like 2015 about like some truck thing, like about Detroit. Roger owned Detroit Diesel back in the day, and Roger knew like literally like the serial number. It was nuts. Like it was crazy. And then he met him again, obviously when I started driving for him in like 22, mum and dad came over for the Indy 500 and Roger was like, how's that Detroit Diesel going for you? And it's just crazy how like these guys are just so professional.
Who's like that for you, Garrett? I know your mom's pretty famous. So your mom is famous, but you know that. But who all did you meet through her?
That I had that kind of oh shit moment.
You met Vince McMahon? Did you ever go to WWE with her?
Yes, I did actually.
Really?
So my mom worked for a toy company and did all the action figures for WW.
That's cool.
WWF.
Yep.
Now it's
From LA.
WWE, right? And so I was, I went to several of the arenas and went to a lot of the
like Royal Rumble and all that stuff. Yeah, I know.
Before it got to the point it is now.
Yeah, that's crazy now.
And like Stone Cold Steve Austin. So
Yep.
It was just that kind of stuff was kind of cool.
Was there anybody that you stands out to you that you met that was like, holy shit, I'm meeting this guy? Like Hulk Hogan? I mean, did you meet Hulk? You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was funny. So being a car guy.
Yeah.
For me, it's car collectors.
Okay.
It's someone that I respect in that way. We were on vacation in Alaska, and we were at this small itty bitty resort, but it was all Michelin star chef. It was just really cool, but very rustic.
Yeah.
And there no TV, no phone, no Wi-Fi. There was a really cool arcade, so we were all playing in the arcade, and I was just kind of came upstairs and chilling, and I pick up this book, and it's this collection of cars by this guy. And I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And my mom was like, what are you looking at? I said, it's this guy's personal collection. And they showed at the last page, he has this warehouse in Vegas that is just full of cars. I'm like, who is? She goes, who is it? I said, Brett. This guy's name's Brett Torino.
Oh, yeah.
And real estate developer, has a huge charity, stuff like that. Anyway, so she goes, he's sitting right over there. It was the first time I have met heads of state. I have met CEOs of Fortune 500s, met billionaires.
Yeah.
I did all of that.
Yeah.
Not to sound jaded, but it was just like I've always been.
This was your man crush.
That's cool.
It was the first time I'd ever been nervous going up to talk to someone.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. I was in my sophomore year of college, and he goes, "Well, if you're ever coming through Vegas, hit me up. I'll give you a tour. We'll go through the whole thing." Sure enough, I graduated college. I said, "Hey, I'm actually driving my car back across the country. Can I come on by?" And he had
everything.
He had the first and last he had the first and last CUDA convertible produced in 1971 in his collection. He had the original prototype Ford King Cobra. Mm-hmm. I mean, he had a Daytona. He had a Superbird. I mean, he had a ZL1 Camaro. I mean, just and his dad's Mercedes. Like it just kept going and going. And he had the largest collection of convertible Challengers and CUDAs on the planet Earth.
Question.
That's nuts.
What's your dream like? When you're kind of settled down a little bit and you got some room for a cool car? I'm sure you got a room now, but like what's like your cool car?
Dream car?
Yeah, not dream like exotic, like man car, like not a Lamborghini or I'm talking like a car that you pull up to and everybody in the world will respect the car.
I think. I mean, when I was 21, my dad bought me a '67 Camaro. Yeah. And I've always wanted to redo that.
So you were loved as a kid.
Oh yeah, but it was like I had to do some serious work on this thing. It's still on like rails right now on bricks, but that ultimately I think that would be pretty cool. I think everyone just appreciates, appreciates like a good old car. Yeah. Or my dad, like 56 F100 would be like really cool. I like the older cars, but
I got a cool C10.
Oh yeah, but Dad loved those. Yeah, I remember the C10.
I like it. The thing is, I had one that was fully custom, air ride, all the wheels, like underbody. I mean, $100,000 build. Like I'm talking probably more than that.
What color?
It was seafoam green.
Oh wow!
So it was like almost like a rustic green look.
Dad was always had an infatuation. Was looking at the C10. It was like a Diablo orange. Okay. You know that Lamborghini Diablo orange, like pearl orange. Yeah, it was like that. It was really nice.
Orange is my favorite color.
Yeah.
But this green is cool, and so I ended up getting a '67 custom air ride lowered with a LS6 in it.
Wow.
And a guy was selling it from Minnesota. Found it on some kind of group forum or chat or whatever, and I started messaging the guy. He may have been on like eBay Motors or something.
Yeah.
And I messaged him individually, and it was probably 2 years ago, maybe. I think about 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was a snowstorm. It was in Minnesota. I reached out to the guy, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm only selling this truck because I'm building a K5 Blazer that I'm taking to Barrett-Jackson."
Yeah.
And I had a guy was buying another car. This guy was like a builder of cars, right? So he got this car, the truck that I had, from a guy in LA who built it, who he knew the builder and got it and wanted the truck, but he wanted to keep it.
Yep.
But he was building a K5 Blazer it was going to be like $150,000, $200,000 build, like not that build, but I was saying a purchase price at Barrett-Jackson. Okay. That was the projected price of what he thought it would go for, and he's probably going to have about 100 in it. Mm-hmm. Well, he needed the money out of this truck to finish paying to build the other one, and so he let it go fairly discounted because it was the middle of winter, and people don't usually buy lowered LS6 pickup
trying
trucks.
to get it out of there was probably hard as well.
He couldn't ship it to me for 2 weeks because the roads weren't even
like, it's funny, a lot of people ask me about, like, am I like really into cars and whatever. I am. I have a passion for cars, don't get me wrong, but I could easily just have a cruisy A to B and put a lot of like my spending on whatever into like my comfort of my home that is just for myself.
Right.
Whether that's building a bar, whether that's putting a golf sim in my house, or I don't know, like eventually. Yeah, I know.
Okay, so you're gonna have to come.
Yeah, I know.
Definitely when season's over.
Yeah.
The first week when you're back to quiet time.
Yeah, well, I'm not being a good boy like I am now.
Yeah, you're being a good boy.
Yeah.
I texted you a couple times, like, "Hey, bro, I got your bottle." Sorry, man, I just stopped.
Yeah, I know. I literally, like, when you said the other day, I was like, I'm trying to be good. Like I had a big off season.
The detox level. Yeah. When they do your blood work, they're like, what have you been doing?
It's normally the scales that does the talking more than anything.
What do you weigh?
185.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually more than I would have thought.
Yeah, I'm bigger than a lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people are surprised when I say that. But yeah.
He's also like 6'9". Yeah. So it's.
You're like
I'm 6 foot. I think I'm just under 6'1". Yeah.
Okay.
But I've always been just a
Is that big
bigger
for a
guy.
driver?
Yes. Yeah. I'm on the bigger side for sure. From maybe not so much. I'm not the tallest, but I'm probably like the widest. I've always been like quite a bigger dude. Like
so
my
you
legs.
Can't really put too much muscle.
No, that's the hardest
stay
thing.
Lean.
Yeah, that's the hardest thing for me.
Do you do fasting?
Yep, I do intermittent fasting.
How long do you fast for?
No, I don't. I've never done the big one where you like fast for a long time. I've never done that. I just do the 16-8 thing. So like it's like 7:30 to 11:30 kind of thing. But yeah, I've just actually recently just employed a health coach, and that's going really well. Just trying to look at different facets of my life to be better, like whether it's getting more sleep,
you're a
looking
professional
after
athlete.
stuff. Yeah.
You're the product.
Yeah. And I've noticed it though. Like, I joined this game when I was like 18. I was pro when I was 18, and I probably didn't take it seriously, my health, when I was younger, because I could get away with more, right? And then now as I've started going in my late 20s, like now I'm in 30, I know I'm still young, but it's definitely taken a toll whether I go out and have a big party. Like the headaches hurt more, and it takes longer to look after yourself and longer to recover. And I've really sort of the last few years taken a different route and how I prepare.
What's a normal sleep schedule for you?
Oh, at least try and get 8 hours. I'm normally a phone down by 9, at least on Do Not Disturb. And then I'm in bed by 9:30, reading till 10 o'clock.
What do you get up?
7.
You get up at
6:45,
7?
yeah, normally.
No shit, that's
I try, yeah, normally, yeah, I know. Normally, but I'll get decent 8 hours sleep, and then I'll go.
Take
to
me
the
through
gym.
a normal day.
So,
like you wake up on a Monday, whatever. What's your regiment look like?
So normally, so I train up in Cornelius, like 20 minutes from here. So wake up 7, like maybe go for a walk with the dogs, then drive up to Cornelius. I'm in the gym from 8 till 9:30 most days. Depends. If I've come off a race, it's recovery. If like for me, it's normally.
I'm talking like intense. I want the audience to hear the grueling crap that you have to go through.
Well, at least 3 to 4 days a week, like high intensity interval training. A lot of like jack your heart rate up to like, 90, 92%. Oh, rowing. Rowing's a big one for us.
I love the rowing machine.
Yeah, rowing machine,
How long do you
ski
do it
erg. Look, I got to show you this thing. It doesn't matter. It's for like, we do, I forgot what it's called, but it's something to condition our heart rate. So like you think about it in a race car, it doesn't just sit here. So when you have a yellow, the heart rate will drop to about 100. You've been sitting at like 150 consistently. And then at the start of a race, it jumps straight up to like 175. Like our heart rate just does this. So we do a lot of, whether it's a minute and a half at like flat out pace on the rower. I've done this thing, it's called the death ladder. So you do 1,000-meter row, 100-meter ski erg.
Ski erg?
Ski, like the ski, the ski erg, yeah. And then you do 900-meter row, 200 ski erg, and it goes all the way till you get to 1,000 ski erg, 100 row. And you do that. That's like our big conditioning day. Like that's our goal one. That takes me about 45 minutes. And like I cut a lot off that in the off season, but that's intense. Like it's so hard.
Here's the thing. You ever tried boxing?
I love boxing.
See, I do boxing.
Yeah. Boxing's great. Yep. We do a lot of body weight stuff.
Yep.
Because like I said to you before, like I'm 185, but I've got to be careful. I can't get much heavier, but I have to be strong.
Sure.
So a lot of my stuff is more endurance based.
Yep.
So I'll do
That's all I do.
Yeah. No high weight, just long reps, like heaps of reps. At least get the right amount of rest. Like figure out the right amount. You can't stagger that differently because it's just not going to be like if you have a minute of intense jumps and you wait 5 minutes after that, it's not right.
You've undone everything.
So a lot of we do is like say we do 45 seconds of like as hard as I can push on the rower, and then I normally do like side step as a like just trundling around the gym to keep and then bring my heart rate down to 120, and then I'm back on the roll. That might take 2 or 3 minutes, but I'm still active when I'm doing that.
Right.
So it keeps it's a way of teaching my heart rate, kind of like when I'm in the car. Like when it's peak, it's like 160, 170. Being able to bring that heart rate down whilst I'm still active, which is what I'm going to be doing under yellow, or what I'm going to be doing just like if I'm by myself in a pit stop. So just breathing and whatnot.
So I want to ask you one last. I'm gonna finish on this.
Yeah.
Does the accent just really get you the doors open for you?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of how doors open with my wife. But it's interesting the amount of people that guess where I'm from or whatever. And the New Zealand Australia thing, I don't really care. I normally just say I'm from Australia because it's just easier than going into it all. But it's funny. The accent's very different.
When you travel all over the place.
Yep.
Is it different here in the U.S. versus because you just went overseas somewhere for vacation? Where'd you go? Italy?
We went to Spain. Spain, Spain, and then London, Ireland.
Okay.
Yep.
How did that work out for you?
Just awesome. Yeah, we went. Carly, my wife, and her best friend, or our best friend Matt. We went and then we met with another girl, Jess. So the 4 of us, and we just it was great. Barcelona, we loved. England was awesome. England was just like London was. I've
been there a few times.
Yeah, it's like New York. It's like the same sort of thing.
2 days you're over.
Yeah, exactly. Ireland, loved Ireland. Ireland was fun.
Where'd you go?
We went to Galway, and then we headed back to Dublin for a little bit. And that was just fun. Did the Guinness factory.
What was your favorite experience in Ireland?
Guinness factory was cool. Like checking that out and having a Guinness at the Guinness factory was cool. I think going to Galway and just going to bars like it was like Monday and this place is pumping like at 2-3 a.m. just like live music. So much live music there. We loved Ireland because of the live music. It was just great. Just sitting there having a drink. Pretty like safe. Seemed pretty safe spot.
How are they receptive to your accent?
Ireland wasn't as welcoming as like Spain or whatever, but I feel like it's just because they get so many tourists and whatnot. But I definitely feel like America as a whole, like is, from a, even though they get paid less, like working for tips, it allows people to be more efficient, more, they get out what they put in, right? And it's really like, it's nice from that point. I think the hospitality is a little bit easier and nicer. People are nice. I mean, I'm biased because I'm married to an American, but very happy to be here.
I went to Japan last year.
And,
it was awesome.
I remember you told me about that.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
But one thing about Japan, Garrett, I don't know if you knew this or not, it's offensive to tip.
Mm-hmm. It's like that in Australia.
I was like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? I was like, wanting to hand this guy some money, and they're like, no. I'm like, okay.
They do it if they do it right. They do it for the pleasure of doing it.
Yeah, it's
you don't tip in Australia?
No, we don't tip in Australia. No, the tipping thing. So I've actually just really learned about that. Like, not learned, I knew about it.
Yeah.
My wife, she was in like hospitality. She was managed a couple of restaurants and stuff. So she's really helped me like learn that and when we tip and whatever. And it's very different.
Do you think, man? Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Scott McLaughlin.
There you go.
Love
there
it.
you go. That's
Glock.
a great way to pronounce it. Yeah,
you're such a badass, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So you're gonna win the championship this year?
Yeah, that's the plan. I'll come on and I promise I'll have a drink with you when we win.
You win the championship. Where's the championship race?
So it'll be in Nashville. So we're racing down Broadway this year in the streets of Nashville.
When is the last race of the season?
September, second weekend of September.
You want to go?
So, yeah,
cool.
It's fun. It'll
if
be a
we
good
book
time.
it now, we could probably get a cheaper hotel.
Well, I'm sure Expel are going to go. You can hit them up too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything that you want to race that you haven't?
24-hour Le Mans over in France.
Who would invite you to do that?
Maybe Porsche, Penske. Who knows? Like if that works out one day in the future.
Do you have a relationship
but it's never,
to get your name in the hat over there?
Yeah. I know them enough, but There's heaps of. I want to win the Indy 500 and the championship here first, and then we'll figure it out.
Right on.
Yeah.
And then I can say that you were on this bullshit podcast.
I love that.
I knew him when.
I love that. Don't worry. You'll have 2 more viewers because my mum and dad will watch this time. So,
Sorry about the voice. I tend to get a little bit excited. It's funny. I started hanging out with a bunch of New Yorkers, man. I cuss a lot more now than I ever did.
Don't worry. I'm used to it. My dad's a truck driver.
Okay,
you're fine. Yeah. All right,
Thanks.
man.
I appreciate
Thanks, brother.
it, brother.
No
Let's
worries.
wrap it up. I'll see you next episode. Later.